Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
This is Alan Roulette of River Horse Photography and River Horse Photography Allure, and you are listening to Duke Loves Rasslin. This is yet another time on Duke Loves Rasslin. I've been on talking about River Horse Photography, River Horse Wrestling Photography, and this time I'm going to talk about my other brand extension, which is River Horse Photography Allure.
This is interesting, Alan. And, we've talked about this offline a lot. And you told me that you were really going to beef up River Horse Photography Allure because there's such a market out there. We're living in an OnlyFans generation, so to speak. Talk to me about Allure. What is it? And specifically, what do people get when they shoot with you under the River Horse Photography Allure brand?
So there's a lot of different reasons why people like to do sexy pictures. A lot of times when I've worked with a lot of wrestlers who are just looking for merch to sell. And so they will do like a sexy photo shoot to sell 8x10s. And that's kind of gotten beefed up in the last few years. There was Patreon, which is still working, and I personally have a Patreon. And there's OnlyFans. And during the pandemic, like OnlyFans blew up because people were working from home. And it's very simple. You sign up, you verify yourself, you do all of that. And then you post whatever content you want. And if you're a sexy girl or a sexy guy, we'll leave them out. You post generally sexy content. But there's people who put like recipes and them cooking and all kinds of stuff on there. Sexy content doesn't always include nudity. Everybody kind of assumes OnlyFans is, porn, but it's not. So with these people, they were doing home pictures and shooting with their iPhones and Androids and this, that, and the other. And I've just started getting this wave of people who want more professionally shot things done because the competition is big out there for this now. I mean, people are competing, and where their dollars go, depends on the content that's on the page. So I've been very lucky lately as to shoot, various people. It's not always wrestlers, your average housewives, moms trying to make a little extra money. Camp's expensive in summer. So there's that. And, but Allure in general is just an opportunity to service, boudoir photography. They call it intimate photography, swimsuit, lingerie, that kind of thing. So there's a commercial aspect to it with Patreon and OnlyFans, but there's a personal aspect to it too. I mean, wives or girlfriends shooting for their boyfriends, guys shooting for their boyfriends or husbands. I shoot it all. And there's let's say a woman gets recently divorced and she feels really horrible about herself. And, she'll hire me sometimes to do a sexy photo shoot just so she has pictures of herself and make her feel good. Or you'll get somebody who's in their late 30s, early 40s. And she'll say, I look the best I've looked in my whole life. I want to get pictures of me now. Sort of like a time machine kind of thing, time capsule kind of thing. So that when 10 or 15 years goes by, she can look back and go, boom, that's what I used to look like,
Well, Alan, this is the thing. I mean, we have this great migration where people are leaving traditional jobs because they're fed up with being mistreated. They're fed up with making money for corporations and other people. and making bare bones for themselves. So they want to become entrepreneurs and find a way to make it work for themselves, keep a roof over their heads, put food on their table in different ways, and certainly the average person stepping outside of their comfort zones and posting these photos where, like you said, this confidence boost, they want to feel better about themselves and they feel, attractive and things like that. And oh, by the way, somebody actually will pay for some of this content. It's really interesting. I let my audience know, and I let some people in the wrestling industry know that I was going to be having you on to have this conversation. And everyone's very excited because there's so many questions and there's so many misconceptions. And I think people really need the perspective of a professional photographer like yourself, somebody who's respected in the industry, somebody who has been doing this for a while, who understands what works and what does not work. Let's do a top 5 suggestions. So from Alan Roulette, okay, from River Horse Photography, Allure, what are some top 5 suggestions? And we don't have to number them like this is the most important one, but let's just give them 5 for people who specifically are looking to take these photos and make a couple of bucks off of them, because there's a strong market, and your average neighbor next door is doing this sort of thing. It's big business. So let's start with one. What's the first thing that comes to mind from your perspective, Alan, that really anyone who wants to do this sort of thing really needs to know?
The first thing you want to do is, at least at first, keep it simple. A simple crop top shirt and a bikini bottom is insanely sexy. And I get people who come to me with these 3-ring circus outfits that, well, here's the garter, and then here's the above garter, and then here's the, the such and such bra with this strap and that strap. And, I'm harnessing them into these things, helping them out sometimes, or, my chaperone is too. And, it's just, if you keep it simple, guys like simple. Like I tell my wife all the time, my wife used to, I've been together 31 years. So probably 20 years ago, back when she went through her lingerie phase, that I don't care about lingerie. I don't particularly feel one way or the other about it. Looks good in a magazine, looks great in pictures, but personally, I'm not a lingerie guy. Because, if things go the way I hope they do, you're not going to be wearing it long. So I don't care. I don't care. Like, wow, you look great. Get that thing off. It's so simple. It works really, really well.
I had a conversation a couple of years ago with a very well-known wrestler who is signed to a major promotion that's on TV. And she was just starting to venture into building her OnlyFans and her Patreon and things like that, because she had gotten such a great response on Instagram. So she wanted to flip that and actually monetize, which she has, and she's been doing well with it. And she hit a plateau, and she asked my opinion. She said, hey, I'm not really getting the subscriptions like I was at first. And, I need to change something. And so she said, hey, take a look at my content. Tell me what you think. And I said, okay, because me, man, I have an opinion about everything. Right? Yeah. So I looked at the content, and the first thing I noticed is that there were large gaps in between when she was updating the content. So I said to her, why are there so many gaps in between? You might do a photo shoot today, and then when you may not post another one for another 2 months. So the gaps we got to erase. So she told me it's because she was saving up money in order to get, the photographer and the special location and all this stuff. So finally I said to her, yeah, but take a look at your numbers. You're getting more of a response when you have a professional shoot you in your bedroom, as opposed to going into the mountains of Las Vegas with this fancy backdrop and all this other nonsense. I said, look, you're wearing a simple nightgown and your normal makeup or your normal look that you look like actually in real life. And that's getting more of a response than when you have this super duper made up fancy outfit, fancy makeup, fancy background. It's like, yeah, that's artistic, but I don't really think that your fan base cares about that version of you as much as they care about looking at the real you. And it's funny because
Right.
she
And
changed her content where she started emphasizing more of the really the version of herself that's her real self more than the fancy stuff. Doesn't mean she doesn't put up the artistic stuff, but once she emphasized the more real stuff, her numbers continue to grow and grow to this day. What do you think about that?
You're right, because it's when you do a commercial page, OnlyFans, Patreon, and then some people have their own pages, and there's some other stuff out there too. When you do that, you are actually, I tell people I shoot with, you are creating a relationship with the person who's looking at you. And, you'll hear girls say, and guys say sometimes, like, oh my goodness, people who are messaging me are such creeps, and, how can they this and how can they that and how can they the other? And I tell them the exact same thing every time. It's like, you're creating a relationship, and that relationship is a very open relationship with anybody who wants to sign on and finds a fancy in you. And they of course want to see more realistic, less insanely posed things. They want to see the look that they would see on your face normally. And they want to, and you can do it in a sexy way. I mean, it's not a real relationship, so you can kind of manipulate it how you wish. But to take a picture of a girl sitting on a stool, eating ice cream with a big giant spoon out of a Haagen-Dazs thing, wearing a crop top and bikini underwear, guys would go absolutely bananas to see that versus like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit level photo shoot. And keep in mind, those magazines, even the swimsuit issue, the sales are going down and down and down. They're not real people. You can't make a connection with them. And that's what photography is. It's like I tell every one of my photography students, which, by the way, I do give lessons via Zoom and everything else. But I tell my photography students, every single picture that you take has to mean something. Something. It doesn't have to mean anything great. It doesn't have to change the world. It doesn't have to anything, but that picture needs to mean something. Or a person will flip past it, or if it's in a book, turn past it. It has to mean something. And by extension, your relationship that you built with your page has to mean something to this person. They want to see you eating ice cream, or, in the backyard in a bikini playing with your dogs, or something like that. That stuff really does work. And then they also want to see the posed, really like, oh, wow. But there has to be something to compare those pictures to. You've got the big time, hair and makeup, primetime photo shoot that you got going on. But the stuff in the middle is the relationship stuff, And so that's why that works, is she built a relationship with her fans as opposed to showing, just showing. Like,
Absolutely.
Here's what I look like.
You're absolutely right. But now I cut you off before, but what's tip number 2? What's the next one here? Because now this is getting really interesting.
Number 2 is hire a professional. And it doesn't mean that you need professional hair and makeup. Fake eyelashes are nice, and a manicure and a pedicure are great. We actually had this conversation 2 days ago. Manicure and pedicure are almost essential, but hire a professional to shoot your pictures, because it gets boring looking at pictures of a woman with the phone covering half her face in a bathroom, or, with the phone covering half her face, flashing off of this, that, or the other. Selfies are tough. And the idea that you're going to just have a successful OnlyFans page based off of the fact that you shoot selfies all day long, maybe it is successful, but imagine what would happen if you actually had some real knockout pictures where your eyes are completely in focus and they can, so as a photographer, I do a lot, I do all my own editing, and I have very one-sided relationships with my clients. And that meaning like, they're with me for an hour and a half, 2 hours, one person 10 hours. We shot one time 10 hours. But after that 10 hours, I'm spending hour upon hour upon hour editing and looking into their face and staring into their eyes over and over and over and over again. And I feel a kinship with them based off of the fact that I am looking in their face and looking in their eyes all this time. And the pictures are, because I have to get in there and make sure everything's cleared out, no blemishes, no this, no that, no the other. And so when I tell them their pictures are ready, I'm like, hey, your pictures are ready and everything's done. I'm very enthusiastic and, just really excited that my new friend that I've just spent 30 hours staring at has her pictures and this and that. And they go, okay, I'll check them out in a bit, this, that, and the other. And then, early on in my career, I'd get hurt. I'm like, wow, why is my friend not, as happy as I am about? And then I realized, oh crap, I'm doing what babies do. Like the first thing a baby does when they're born and can see is they look for eyes. They look for people's eyes. And they can tell a lot from your eyes. Kids can tell when you're lying based off of your eyes because they've been staring at your eyes since they could stare. And we take that with us into being adults. We look at their eyes. They did this, they did a survey on porn, people who watch porn. And they were like, what do you look at the most in pornography? And overwhelmingly, men said they look at the woman's face during the act. They want to see their face, specifically their eyes. They're not looking at the bikini bits. They're not looking at the guy. They're not looking at the wonderful place that these people are copulating. They're looking at the woman's face and they're looking at their eyes. Then they're glancing at the other stuff too, but that's where they focus. Same thing with babies, same thing with people who look at pictures. If I tell my students all the time, you can take the worst picture in the world. It can be fuzzy, it can be blurry, it could be whatever. But if the eyes are in focus, it'll be a good picture. It just is artistic at that point. You can label it, oh, wow, this is so artsy. It's like, no, it's out of focus, except the eyes aren't. So that's what people are looking for. And when you cover half of your face with a cell phone, they can't see your face. So they're looking, you're thinking they're looking at your body. They want to look at your body. Yes, they do want to look at your body, but they want to see your face too. So you should get at the very least, a third party to shoot your pictures, but preferably get a professional to do it. It'll be lit right. It'll be colored right. It won't be orangey or it won't be fuzzy. It won't be, you could blow it up as big as you want to, and, so that'd be my second.
I love it. I love it. Listen, I hope everyone listening is taking notes here. Alan Roulette is giving you the secret. Okay. I mean, again, a lot of you folks out there, you've been doing the OnlyFans, you've been doing the Patreon, you've been doing your own personal website stuff, selling the sexy pictures, boosting the confidence, all that good stuff here. This is very important information. And from one of the best in the game today, opening up the book of secrets and giving you the top 5 here. This is fantastic. What's number 3 for us there, Alan?
Don't give it all away at once. It's like, I will tell you a really weird story of something that happened to me this is pre-pandemic. So I had a guy whose wife was doing a Patreon at the time. And he was like, he wanted to get her a photo shoot for Christmas. He thought maybe she should have some professional content on her page because all she did was selfies. And so he hired me, and I was like, no problem. What do you want to do? There's lingerie, there's swimsuit, there's, bra and panty, there's, t-shirt and underwear, there's topless, there's hand bras, there's all that kind of stuff. So he was like, he started sending me some of the stuff from some of her content. And I'm like, super duper easy. And he goes, do you shoot this? And he sent me a picture of her lady business. And I mean, just a picture of it. I mean, it wasn't even, there was no context. There was nothing. Like, it wasn't legs. There wasn't a belly button. It was just bam, there it was. You know, it was just a roast beef sandwich right in front of me, like boom, right there, you know? And I'm like, whoa. And he goes, do you do that? And I'm like, that is a completely different deal. I don't do porn, you know, I shoot sexy pictures, intimate pictures. I will shoot whatever you want if you hire me to, but my name will not be associated with it. I will not have any watermarks on it. Do not tag me. So, you know, I'll do business, but no, I generally don't. And I'm like, but I asked him, I'm like, how much of her content is that? He goes, most of it. And I'm like, so you're hiring, you want a professional photo shoot. So I kind of do a deep dive when I shoot anybody. And I asked him what was going on. And he goes, she's losing, you know, viewership. People are leaving her Patreon. And, you know, I figured a professional shoot would boost that. And I'm like, I'm going to give you some free advice. Don't give it all away at once. Because when you give it away, you've given it away. Then you have to be creative about how you give it away at that point. Like, you don't have to be as nude can be, or as rude can be, to have a successful page. You just have to build a relationship with your clients and at times give them something special. You know, it's like, you know, most guys who are married, your wife's a freak on your birthday, usually. If you're lucky, Father's Day. You might get a wild Christmas gift. But I mean, your wife is not, you know, after 10 years, she's not turning herself out to you every single night. It just doesn't work that way. If it is that way, then wow, good luck. I mean, congratulations, you have discovered the unicorn, and that's fabulous. But she's not, every day, she's not walking around the house, but after 10, 12, 15 years, a couple of kids, she's not walking around the house butt naked every day. She's not, you know, doing everything wild that you can possibly think. Because if she did, you would probably leave, because that would get boring. So you have your down days and you have your up days. You have your, you know, heavy petting, kissing days. And then you have your raucous, freaky circus sex days, you know, and women are very good about that when it comes to relationships. They really try hard not to give it all away all the time. But when they get an OnlyFans page or a Patreon page or a personal website or whatever, some people are just shot all the way out of a cannon. Like, here it is, boom, here it is again, boom. You know, it's just constantly showing you everything, and they're not building that relationship. So I guess I should amend number 3 in that, you know, handle your pages like you handle your relationships. You know, you're always nice every day, and if you're a giving person, you're always giving, but you're not giving it all away all the time. So, you know, that would be 3 for me.
I love that. I love that. Don't give it all away. You know, treat it like your relationship. This is sage advice here, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense here. Jesus, Alan, you're really like the Wizard of Oz on this stuff here. Let's get to number 4. What's that?
I'm just saying it's people think that I'm kind of new to doing this because I've only been doing my own thing for about 6 or 7 years ago. But the stuff that I used to shoot is owned by the people that hired me. So I can't use any of it. No one's seen any of it, but you'd be surprised at how many bikini girls and beer bottles and, you know, how many signs for various places on the highway that are billboards have a girl that I've shot in them. It doesn't have my name, doesn't have my watermark, and I can't use any of the material because I didn't use any of my own equipment. And I shot for somebody else, so the other person automatically owns it. But I've been doing this a while, so so anyway.
The Wizard of Oz, like I said, I love it. I love it. What's number 4 for us?
So number 4 is mix it up. It's like everybody talks about their comfort zone. And your comfort zone, as far as your body is concerned, is always sacred. Before I shoot any allure shoot, I always ask, what are you okay with? And I never make any suggestions. I never say anything. I let them talk. And I go, what are you comfortable with? Well, I'm comfortable with bikinis and lingerie. Let me stop you there. What type of lingerie are you comfortable with? See-through, not see-through, netting, non-netting? Are you talking about bras and panties? Are you talking about, a negligee? I don't even think they call them that anymore. I just sound like I'm 100 years old. But you ask those things and they go, well, I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with that. So then when they get done, you go, okay, so other models that I've shot have done, and you list a few things that they haven't mentioned, hand bras, for example, or, implied nudity, where, they wear a tube top, but they're covered by something. So it looks like they're nude, and you talk about those things. And once you've talked about all those things as far as their bodies are concerned, then we start talking about what you're going to wear and what colors and that kind of thing. So once you've decided body-wise what your limitations are, like, I just can't do this. And those change for people, both forward and back. I've done allure shoots on people who let it all hang out the first time I shot them, and then were much more conservative the second time I shot them. Or I've done conservative allure shoots, and then they broke up with the guy or whatever, and they really want to let it all hang out at that point. Or the relationship progresses to, our relationship, our model photographer relationship progresses to the point where they go, I want to try this and I want to try that. And if I don't like it, it stays in the cloud. They realize that's what the rules are. If you don't dig it, and we're not working as in a collaboration where you hired me, instead of being a collaborative effort, then the stuff stays in the cloud forever. So, but when you get to that point where you've gotten body comfort, where you're comfortable with what you want to do, mix up what you're wearing. I mean, if you're a no nudity type of person, then okay, that's great. So bikinis or leather and lace, or, wearing an apron with no nudity. You just have a big apron on and a bowl with something in it, and you're, have your finger in your mouth because you just tasted what was in the bowl. Nothing dirty happened there at all. It's implied, mix it up. If you like to kiss girls, perhaps you may want to kiss a girl in a picture, if you're a guy or a girl. If you like to kiss boys, mix it up. Kiss a boy in a picture. One of my favorite people to look at, and I look at a lot of people, I have people that I learn things from by looking at their photography. But one of the people I look at is a woman by the name of Abigail Ratchford. And she's it's pretty incredible. Like, all of her stuff is implied, or hand bras or whatever. I have not seen that woman naked ever, but she's the sexiest woman on the planet when I'm looking at her. And it is most of the stuff that I've said. She mixes it up. One day she's sitting in a bikini, eating some fruit at a table, going, wish you were here, or some foolishness. And then the next day it's a studio shoot with her wearing tight jeans and doing a hand bra, and then the next time it's, her riding a horse in a bikini top and shorts, and it's, mix it up. If you do only photos, maybe you should add some video. If you do only videos, maybe you should do a professional photo shoot and add some professional photography. Have some stuff where you're super made up, and then have some stuff where you're not. Mix it up. Nobody wants to look at the same thing over and over and over again. Even if it's the same type of thing, they don't want to look at it. If you always wear pants, wear leather pants one day, wear jeans another day, or whatever, mix it up. And don't be afraid to stretch your comfort zone a little bit. If you don't like it, you can always, and you're paying, tell the photographer to get rid of it when you're looking at the preview shots. So
Listen, you got us a bated breath now. You've given us 4 solids. What's the last one here? Number 5. What is your number 5 tip for the masses here on doing these types of photos?
Don't be afraid to charge. Like, I've seen people's Patreons and OnlyFans pages, and it's like $1 to get on. You're only worth $1. You know, I mean, they want to work off of volume. Well, there's a lot of competition out there. So, you know, that $1 may turn into $5 for somebody else because there's competition out there. Don't be afraid to charge for extra things when they're on your page. Sell them 8x10s, you know, sell them, you know, if you're, I know some of the wrestlers will sell ring gear, or will sell, you know, items of things that they've sell. It's, look, for some people it's a kink, all right, and for some people it's you know, makes them feel sexy or whatever. But for most people, you're on a commercial site to make money. And if you want to make money, you got to sell. And if you don't have anything to sell, then you come to somebody like me and we create some things for you to sell. 5 8x10s that you make copies of, that you personalize for your patrons and your fans, and you put them up for $10. Now you've got your OnlyFans charge, or your Patreon charge, or your personal page charge. Plus you've just made an additional $10 or 15 or 25 or whatever, because you're selling personalized merch, you know? I know somebody who has a page that sells their own t-shirts. She's a dancer. It's a picture of her on the pole that was been cartoon. They did the cartoon thing with it. And she sells those t-shirts and they go out the window. And she sells them she even has like little pink crop top versions of it that she sells to women, you know? And it's her. It doesn't say anything, doesn't have her name or anything. It's just her swinging around on a pole in the cartoon version. And she makes money. So she just got her OnlyFans money. She just sold some merch, which may possibly have doubled or tripled however much that she would have made by just posting. So you have somebody, you know, to kind of summarize, you have somebody that is taking selfies of themselves in a mirror, pretty much the same pictures over and over and over again. And, you know, not looking at the camera, not creating a relationship, not selling anything extra, not doing any of those things that I just talked about. And then you have people that are doing all those things. And I will bet you dollars to donuts that the person that's doing the extra and putting the extra work into their job, because this is a job for you, maybe you're a kink, but it's a kinky job. You know, it may make you feel sexy, but it's a sexy job. And the people who are doing all the things that they can do to make the most money, make the most money. And then there you are in your bathroom, in your bra and underwear, in your bad lighting, with your camera covering half your face, shooting pictures of yourself, and happy because you have X amount of people that follow you, when you clearly could have more. And that's what we want, is more. We all want more. So,
you know, it's funny. Jerry the King Lawler said to me, having a bunch of followers on social media is like having the most money in Monopoly.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Like when I started my Patreon page, I have significantly less followers on my Patreon page than I have on my Instagram, Riverhorse photography _ allure. And I started the Patreon page because I realized I wasn't making a dime from posting pictures for free on Instagram, you know, and 1,000 people may like my picture, but nobody put any money in my pocket. So I froze my account. Yeah, I didn't freeze my account, but I froze putting pictures up. I still do stories and stuff like that. But you want more, you got to come to my Patreon, and you got to pay a little bit to get it. And
I love it.
You know, it's worked. I mean, again, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Like, all right, this is a super duper crazy sexy picture that I spent, a bunch of time editing and doing all this stuff. And this woman is selling this as an 8x10 to all of her fans everywhere. And I post it on Instagram and I get 1,273 likes. And that's it. It's over. And it's over and done with. And maybe somebody might be inspired to do a shoot with me based off of it, but it's good advertising. But I've got more than enough stuff up there to advertise, So the funny thing about this conversation and actually doing this when you suggested it was, this is how we met. Like, you and I met. You did an interview with Sophie Ramirez Castillo. Remember that name? You're going to see her a lot. And we had done a sexy shoot, and you had seen pictures from it, and you said that you wanted to talk to me based off of the fact that you saw them. And that's the kind of reaction you want to get. Like, wow, you want to, as a photographer, just from the photography side, the photography nerd side of it all, you not only want the client to be super duper happy and for them to make a ton of money, and you want to make a ton of money too, based off of the fact I charge for shoots and for pictures. But the second thing that you want is people to go, hey, I really want to meet her, but not in a creepy, show up at their house with, zip ties way, just like I want to go to a con or a appearance that they're doing way. And then the next thing you want is you want them to go, wow, that guy who shot that, what was he thinking? Like, how did he, wow, I want to talk to him. So it was incredibly flattering for you to lead off with that. When you told me, hey, I saw these pictures you showed of Sophie and they were really good. And I just went, I have to talk to this guy. And that gets you in the warm, fuzzy feels that somebody's like, wow, aw, and when you're a artist, that's what you want. You're just looking for attention. And a lot of people say they don't look for it, but you want attention. You want people to appreciate your work, and you want them to ultimately appreciate you. Most of the time they show they appreciate you with their dollars. Hey, I need you to hire you for this or this or this. But, they also appreciate you how much they appreciate you in a lot of different ways. So, excuse me.
Well, listen, I know people listening right now want to appreciate you the best way that they can. So why don't you let them know, Alan? And I know we plug River Horse Photography and all that, but Allure, okay? Because there are people listening right now who probably need to get with you to do some shots. And I know that you're not restricted. You'll go all over if it makes sense. What's the best way that folk can reach out to you for River Horse Photography Allure?
Well, my email, you can do either email, riverhorsephotography@gmail.com, or you can do riverhorsephotographyallure@gmail.com. Either way, I get all those emails. You can contact me through social media, riverhorse_photography_allure. On Facebook, just started a little Facebook side page. So River Horse Photography Allure, is there. I 99.99999% of all my shoots are paid shoots. You pay me because you need to do business. Once a month, I do a collaboration shoot where I do shot for shot. And it's an opportunity for me to, as honest as I can be, practice or use new equipment or try a new technique and not have to try it out on a paying customer. And for God's sakes, not have to try it out on my wife again, who after all these years is like, hey, I just need you to take just a few. So, and the Allure stuff is out the window with her now. It used to be okay, but not anymore. So I do one collaborated shoot a month, and I didn't get anybody in May, which was really strange. But so I extended it to June, and it's sexy and inked this month. So if you are inked and you are sexy, or you feel you're sexy, contact me, DM me, email me, message me, any of that kind of stuff. Everything I have is public. You can see it all. You can even call me, 863-409-7143. You can call me or text me. And because I'm a business, it's my number, that's my email, that's my social media. And if you want to do a collaborated thing, you'll get about 20 to 30 shots. Whatever I edit is yours. You sign it over to me, and then you're given that as pay. That is your pay, and you can do with it what you will. Put it on your OnlyFans, put it on your Patreon. You can sell 8x10s if you want. I really don't advise selling files, because people will take the files and then they will use them and they will make your money. But besides that, one a month. Next month, I think next month is July. I think I'm doing body paint next month. Want to try new stuff. And anybody who wants to try it with me is more than welcome to collaborate with me. I do one a month. So if I tell you I'm already booked, then maybe you can book for the next month, but it's one a month. But other than that, my rates are reasonable. You can see my work. And when you go onto my social medias, and you can see what I do. You can see some of the most beautiful women that I've shot. And a lot of them have been on your show. Sophie Ramirez Castillo, Lindsay Carlson, Lori Carlson. I've shot Ashley Mayberry. She was on your show. I mean, anyway, I've shot people who've been on your show, but I've shot a lot of people who haven't too. And you will always have a chaperone at my place. It's never just you and me. You are always entitled to bring somebody with you. I will abide by whatever COVID restrictions you have. I have a long lens that I can shoot you from far, far away, or we can shoot like I normally shoot in my studio. Every consideration is made for you. And, there's even snacks and bubbly sometimes, if that's what you request. So, and it's not just women. I shoot men also. I should say that. I've shot Storm Thomas, and I've shot Noah Vale, who was on your show. I did an allure shoot with. That was just wild. And we're planning on doing another one that's just wild. So you don't have to be wild and crazy. And you certainly won't. We do not shoot porn here. We shoot sexy pictures. So, leave your sex toys at home. And no, I don't want to see your baby maker. But other than that, we let it all hang out here and have fun. And it's reasonable and relaxed. That was my motto of my business for the longest time. Reasonable, relaxed photography. It's reasonably priced. And once you get over your initial nervousness of meeting me, and you see either my mother or my wife chaperoning, and you see all the gray hair on my face, and you see that I'm just a kindly old man, most people are really, really relaxed and are kind of sad when it's all over with. And message and call and everything, just very excited about their pictures. I'll show you what we're doing all the way through. Your ideas are welcome. I'll throw my ideas into, and then most shoots turn out really, really well, because we take the time and think of you and what your wants, needs, hopes, desires, dreams, and aspirations are. So if you want to check out my Patreon page, you can go to www.patreon.com/RH-Allure. Capital R, capital H, Allure, ALLURE. And you can see I generally post once a day, but I have levels, various tiers. I have merch. I have all kinds of great stuff on there, and you'll be able to see some of the beautiful women that I shoot. Thank you.
If you are a content creator and you want a great program that provides studio quality sound, especially when you're doing interviews, then I encourage you to check out Zencastr. That's right, Zencastr. It is my absolute favorite program to record with. I encourage everyone to check it out, okay? Visit Zencastr.com for more information. Enjoy.
This is WWE Hall of Famer JBL, and you are listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Folks, as always, be kind to yourselves and be kind to
others. Take it away, Tony Schiavone.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Rasslin.